Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to You, Me, and the Trinity's Christ Connections and Conversations. We are so excited about tonight's topic. Woo, we got some fresh, vibrant new faces tonight who's going to shed some light on religion and relationships, the mind of a millennial. We're going to go around and let them introduce themselves real quick. We got Elder Kim down there. Woohoo! My other half of Yumi and the Trinity, and our third, he is absent tonight, but I think our guys on the panel are going to hold it down. We're going to go straight beside me to Reverend Jonathan Moore.
Good evening, everyone. So honored to be with you all tonight. My name is Reverend Jonathan Moore. I'm a 26-year-old second year Master of Divinity candidate at Emory Candler School of Theology, and I'm also a new pastor of Thomas Chapel AME Zion Church in Lyerly, Georgia, way down south. So I'm excited to be with you all tonight and looking forward to the conversation.
Miss Jasmine.
Hey y'all, my name is Jasmine. You can call me Jazz. 33 from Baltimore. Spent the last 4 years of my life in Atlanta and kind of living in between the two cities right now. And yeah, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk and glean from these wonderful peers of mine, as well as challenge some of their thoughts.
Matt, y'all just go around.
Hello, brother Matt C. Wright. Glad to be a part of this. I haven't been on for a conversation in a while. Just glad to share, learn, and to be here.
Jessica.
Hey everybody, I'm Jessica. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm excited to be here. It's my first time, so I'm excited.
Leash.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrelisha, but you guys can call me Leisha, and I am 24. I'm from Anniston, Alabama, and I'm excited to be a part of the conversation.
Hello, my name is Janicia. I go by J or BB, whichever one is easier for you. I'm new to this, but I'm very much excited to have a conversation with y'all. And that's it.
Don't be nervous. You here with your TTs, baby. Don't be nervous.
All right, so I was going to say, since you going to say something?
No,
go ahead.
I just want to thank y'all for being here, for joining us tonight. I know y'all might be a little nervous, but y'all just on the couch talking to your TTs. It's just a little family chat, nothing serious, nothing still. Just be yourself, just be authentic to you, and we will be all right. So thank y'all for joining. Like we said, tonight we're discussing relationships and religion and anything in between. So thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us.
So we have starting our talks off with a little game. And it always goes into deep conversation. We like to call it a little he said, she said. So, first question of the night. Since we're talking about relationships, you broke up with your significant other less than a week ago, and they are already in another relationship. What does that likely mean? You know what? I feel like I'm gonna throw that to Jasmine first.
It means I'm about to go to the clink. Listen. The way my crazy set up. So no, seriously. It doesn't mean anything. It probably means that they were not nearly as invested as I am, or they're okay with moving on quickly. For me, I've been in that position and it's quite all right. For me, when I moved on that quickly, I had checked out months before it became official. So it was, your girl was already out there.
Okay, Jess, you want to take a stab at that one?
To me, it mean they was already doing something with somebody else before they broke up with you. And you want me to go in further detail, or is that good?
Yeah, elaborate. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, she said that it was all right with her. It wouldn't be all right with me. Is we in love with him? I mean,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
he
saying?
your
Because for
significant other.
me,
Y'all in a whole relationship.
okay. For me,
y'all been kicking it for months.
That wouldn't be all right. I would not be okay with that. And I'm not gonna say that I would be acting a fool or nothing, but somebody gonna get some choice words, and somebody might get their feelings hurt because that's trifling.
Fellas, Matt, how would you handle that? Your girl, y'all been rocking for months. Y'all break up a week later, she got a new boo.
I wasn't the boo. Said somebody gonna get hurt. It could be me. It could be that she got what she needed in that period of time. I think we like to make time a thing, and time ain't got nothing on connection. I've been on both sides of the equation. Time ain't got nothing to do with it. It ain't really got much to do with it.
BB, I think you're the only married one on the panel. So I'm interested in hearing your input. How would you feel?
Well, I would definitely think that they had something going on before. But, as you mature, you understand that, like he said, timing has nothing to do with the connection. So it could mean that they were doing what they were doing before, but it could also mean that y'all time was up and they have found the person that they're supposed to be with. So you just wasn't the right time, right season, anything of that nature.
Okay. Leash?
I think I gotta agree with my girl Jessica on this one. If we break up and the next week you with somebody, like you've been talking to her, you're trifling. I agree with Jessica.
Reverend Moore?
Well, for me, I think that if I'm in that position, if anything, my ego is what's been damaged really, because it's like, how can he move on so quickly? I think very highly of myself. So if that were to happen, I'd be like, well, wow, like I thought I was like the best thing that like ever happened to you, but now here you are a week later, and I guess not. So the ego takes a hit. But as Matt said, connection isn't bound to time. So um, I understand, but definitely it's the ego for me.
Could you not ask yourself the same questions though?
Yes.
You could ask yourself the same, like, shoot, why am I sitting here, not connected? Right? Like it could be a lot of things. Like I don't think we always kind of like to look at the other person, and I'm an introspective person. Like I'm always looking at me. What is it? Because usually when it's over, you kind of you knew it was over, and there's something with you that tells you that there's something in you that they shouldn't have left so easily. But it might be something, you need to examine that. Why wouldn't they leave that so easily? Why couldn't they move on so easily? It's a lot of factors. So I get it, oh yeah, he could have definitely been doing this, could have been, but maybe not. Why weren't you? Why couldn't you? Could you have been on the, in the same position where, in the shoes, oh dang, he could be with a whole person, or she could be with a whole person, and then you show up with a whole person, they feeling the same way you were a week ago. It's like, well, wait, oh dang, I mean, I know why my connection happened, but how'd that happen over there? So I mean, time ain't got nothing on connection, man. I'm trying to like, yeah.
That's all I got.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I agree with you. Next question. You want to take it, Sissy? Go ahead.
Yo, boo. So we in the social media age. So your boo been active on social media all day, but they not responding to none of your texts or your calls. Leisha, what you gonna do?
Man, I really wanted to hear everybody else's response before I went first.
Be honest.
I mean, like, I feel like I'm getting y'all save answers. Ain't
No,
nobody pulling up.
First you ask me,
Right.
what you doing, sis?
I feel like I would send them a long text message. Like, I'm just being honest because this is me. Like, I would send a long text message like, so you active on Facebook and you can't respond to me? And that'll be it because I'm not going to blow up your phone constantly. And you just ignoring me anyway. So I would send a very long, detailed message about how I'm feeling. And that would be that. If they write me that day, they do. If they don't, by the time you write me, I'm going to have attitude. So...
You gonna have an attitude.
a whole
I want to hear
attitude.
from the guys. You done text her. You been calling her, and she
Oh
don't
man,
answer.
I mean, well, for me, I know that in when I'm dealing with someone, I'm the type of guy that I like the attention that I get from my interaction with someone else. So that would I really don't know how I would react. I act, and I'm trying to work on this. I act more so off of like just raw emotion and instinct. So it's just like the first time it happens, okay, like you're dead to me now, like because now we just like there's no reason for us to be talking anymore. So I'm trying to get better at that. Not reacting solely off of instinct and just emotion, but trying to think things through more. But I know if I'm in that position, it's more like we don't have anything to discuss.
I'm gonna
Matt,
check my ego.
Okay. Huh?
I'm gonna check my ego first. What's going on? What's happening with me that makes me A, insecure, B, has me thinking a way about them not messaging me. And then after I process all that, I'll probably address it. It all depends on the circumstances. You know, but I'm gonna check me. And I think that's just where I've gotten. Like I'm gonna check me because it always starts with you. And to be like, man, you did this and that, you did am I paying the phone bill? What type of business is going on? What's going on here? And am I secure in the fact that I'm gonna hear from them when I hear from them? And that if I don't hear from them, then I should be man enough to understand where they place me in their list of priorities and deal with that. Because other than that, I'm a flip out. I know how I can be. And when I start getting there, then I gotta check myself like on my possessive nature and me feeling like I'm in control of something that I'm not. Maybe I need to step up and pay this phone bill so that when I see you active, you need to be checking in. But until I'm doing that, you don't belong to me. Especially if there's nothing here. My mom has always said that. No matter what's going on, what you stressing about? She be like, lift your hands. Like, what you see? Nothing. Exactly. So gotta check the ego.
Jess, you ain't
Hey,
looking
I'm
like
just
you
stuck
feel
on
like
because
that.
bruh said, do I pay the phone bill? Bruh said, do I pay the phone
I'm
bill?
not
Because
feeling.
bruh said, if he pay the phone bill, you might need to answer that
Answer that
phone.
phone.
Hello?
Answer that phone.
I'm looking at
That's
Jess
a real
face the whole
answer.
time, and
He
Jess
said,
looking like, yeah, bro, that sounds real good, but that ain't what we're gonna do over here. What you gonna do?
It's not even the space of whether or not you have a wedding ring on with this person or whatever. But if two people make an agreement, okay, then you need to stick to your agreement. And as far as somebody, I'm visibly seeing you post online all day, and you don't have 2 seconds to return my text or my phone call or whatever. I said, Alicia must be my cousin or something, because she said she would send a long text message, and in younger years I probably would have done that. I'm in another space now where I match energy, and I'm working on it. Because I'm not perfect, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes it does come into your mind, you know what I'm saying? Like, what in the world is this person doing? And I done text them 45 times, or even I text them at 8 o'clock this morning, and it's 3 o'clock, and they ain't text me back yet. And they've been playing on social media all day. Like, realistically, I'm not about to sit there and check myself. Like, if I'm being real with myself, I'm going to feel some type of way about what has transpired.
Absolutely. And what response could you receive at that point of disrespect that's going to do something for you?
It don't matter.
Because they've shown you. Exactly. It
I
don't
think
matter.
sometimes we just react to stuff because in our minds it makes us feel better.
Long as you point that out, because that's the ego. You know, so it's like,
well, I got one.
Just, I mean, it ain't nothing wrong. I mean, everybody do, you know, what they do, but it's just at the end, you invite the answer, right? Like they say, don't go looking for something you don't want to find, right? So it's like you sit up there. It's been, last time we talked was 8 o'clock. Now
And we said
it's
we didn't want
lunch.
to find
We
it.
got a routine going on. I ain't heard from you at all. Nothing. Now I'm gonna
So
send
can
this
I ask
long
you a
text
question,
message.
Matt?
Huh?
Do you give off the impression to women that you don't care about them? Because that's how
That's a good
I
question.
would take your response. Like, we gotta break up because he don't even care about me. Like, no.
So that wouldn't warrant no long message or nothing. That result, that's an answer. That's already a decision. I don't need to send no text for that. I don't need to start no nothing. If it's over, then it's over.
You don't know it's over because you ain't text back all day.
I got a question.
What, Jasmine?
Where he located? Because my pull-up game real strong.
Don't talk about, cause so like if bro live, 20, even even an hour away, I'm still pulling up. Cause if I know you all act, I'm finna give y'all my answer, the Ebony Lachelle answer. I'm finna pull up.
Cause what is
Like
you
I don't
doing?
think
What is you
like
doing?
what is you doing? And see now I done got a little older, so I'm not gonna pull up with an attitude. I'm gonna pull up out of concern first. I'm gonna be like, oh my God, babe, I didn't know what was going on. Are you okay? That's my professional gonna come out, but then I'm gonna get out. So you see me calling you, then I'm gonna act up once I realize you're all right. Y'all
That's
giving
what she
real,
gonna
I'm
do
pulling up with
first
no
off rip. All that
understanding.
y'all giving
professional
real
bull crap
Jesus
is a lie.
answers.
Soon as
Jasmine,
she
I don't know
pull up,
what
she gonna
y'all
start
doing.
clapping them hands. That's what she gonna do.
No,
Ain't gonna
I'm
be
not.
no, oh
Jayhart, you don't
babe,
even
you
know what's
good. You then she clapping hands as soon as she pull up.
Jayhart, you don't even
Yeah,
know
you
what's
need to
going
stop
on.
lying.
That's
You
why
don't even
just
know
my
what's
little
going
sister,
on.
cause I'm pulling up with no understanding. Now it'll be different if I don't, you ain't posted, I ain't seen you all day, I ain't talked to you all day, you're missing. Then I'm gonna be like, oh God, where is he? I hope he's okay. But if I see you visibly talking to everybody but me, I wanna know why you ain't talking to me. You have to tell me to my face why you ain't talking to me.
Mariah, I'm pulling up to lay hands. I'm pulling up to
Cause
lay
we
hands.
too grown. We too
And not
grown for
holding
that.
hands. Not even
No,
holding
it is
hands.
holy hands because I'm gonna put olive oil on it first, and then that's my excuse. You see how that works?
I'm definitely probably not pulling up.
I'm pulling up.
But when you text me later on, I'm not responding.
I'm pulling up. Cause what is you doing?
I think we're missing
Sir?
the circumstances leading up to this too.
So Matthew, let's
Because
be
that was
truthful
an
here,
accident.
Matthew.
Circumstance.
Wait a
Tisha
minute,
said that was an accident.
Wait a minute, Matt. Listen. Context is everything, and you and I agree on that. However, we don't have context. So knee-jerk reaction is you said you're gonna worry about yourself and you're gonna make sure
I'm
you
gonna
ain't
check
hit the phone.
myself
Right, and you're
because
not paying
because
her
I'm
cell phone
see
bill, so that's good. Fine.
because
I'm
out
letting you
out
know
of
I'm pulling up.
nowhere, like what's
I'll drive
happening.
at
I'm gonna
least
check myself.
I will
Now
drive
I
a
don't mean to say
minimum
I'm
of
not
3
gonna
hours.
react, but I'm gonna check myself first. And while I'm
No.
checking myself and figuring all that out, it's
I'm
like
gonna check myself on a 3-hour drive.
check this out. You ever had
Wait,
to
wait,
miss a
wait.
day every
Did
time?
you say 3 hour drive?
Yeah,
She
that's
said
my
it.
maximum. And most men I date don't live in my state.
So she flying in, then she pulling up.
So all that
You
done
heard her.
flavored and marinated all up in there.
But then what?
Oh, guys.
I've been there.
But
I
then,
guess I've been that guy. I'm that guy. Like, yo, what is going on? Right? But not before I've checked myself, and I'm a Capricorn. So I'm gonna set the table for you. You just gotta come and eat. So I'm not gonna throw the food. Nope, come sit at the table. I've been setting this table all day. It started with a side of ignoring me. There's a main dish of missed text messages. There's a little dessert of you posted X number of time. And then the context is the tablecloth, right? The context is there all along before anything else is there. So what's going on that's led up to this that's got me feeling away? Because if we're good and this happens, then I'm also again looking at me like, oh shoot, contacting everyone but me. Let me check me again, because I'm like, oh, I guess I need some attention or whatever, and maybe that's something we need to talk about when we talk. Hey, I realized today that I need a little more attention than I knew before today, because I felt ignored. I felt whatever. Maybe there was an argument, you ignoring me. I know why you ignored me. If there was a talking phase or something, and it's like, okay, I need to figure some things out. But I don't think everything goes to like, what you doing? I'm like, well, what you doing? Because again, are you paying for this? Like, and no bill, and we ain't sealed the deal.
That's very mature of you. That
Ooh,
is,
child.
Auntie is
let
not that
me
mature.
Because
know
I've been
what?
Ooh,
very
child.
immature. That's
let let
where it comes from, immaturity. It
Auntie
comes
is
from
not
being
that
immature.
mature.
I
I'm
I
sorry. I'm sorry.
Now I will say this. I've gone MIA on people, not intentionally, right? So 2018, I was in a really bad car accident. I had a concussion. Like, there have been days that I went MIA on everybody, right? Not because anything was wrong with them, or I done got on social media, I posted a few things, and then I'm MIA again. But at the end of the day, when I do reach back out, or if I know, Matt mentioned this earlier, he said if we set up a routine, right? So if there are people that I know are checking on me throughout the day, who are looking to hear from me throughout the day, even on my worst days, I try to communicate and be like, not talking today, not in a good space, or listen, migraine day, your girl down, things of that nature. But without context, I want y'all to know my knee-jerk reaction is I'm pulling up.
Okay.
and there it is, and that's just what it is.
That's
That's
fair. That's
so.
fair.
Yeah, I'm I'm pulling up to see the talk, and then I'm gonna have a
Yeah,
reaction.
I'm a little nuck if you buckish. I don't know if I'm gonna be. I'm.
Yeah,
I
enough
just
is
don't see.
enough.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that I like we're. It's a difference if you know what I'm saying. Like, I'm not in a relationship with this person. I don't really know this person. We don't have because when you get into a relationship with somebody, you kind of have a working flow. And so like if you're in this flow with this person and you know that everything has been fine, nothing happened from the night before or that morning or whatever, and they just all of a sudden disappear. Okay. And then I'm trying to get in contact with them. And then you do go all the thoughts of, well, is he okay? Blah, 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 blah. And then you pop up and see that he been all on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Like, in Instagram models pictures all day and stuff. But he haven't said nothing to you. And he supposed to be your bae. Like, it's finna be a problem. And I'm not checking myself before the problem begin, because boy, we got a working flow and you is working out of the flow. It's finna
well
be a problem.
You was
Period.
outside of the ark of safety. You was not in
well
the anointing.
see, this is the thing.
Period.
This is what I gather. Matt has to be talking about if y'all just kicking it, y'all cool, y'all friends, excuse me, and y'all get in the getting to know space. Then yes, I'm gonna check myself, because you don't owe me that. You don't owe me the
Yeah,
routine.
it just
You don't
said
owe
boo.
me to come
Yeah.
back. But you talking about boo thing, we together, like Miss Jessica talking about
We
I
together.
felt
for
like that was how
for
the
y'all.
question was asked. Am I wrong?
Yeah,
No, that was not a
that was the
question
other
for
thing
Jay.
too.
Oh, okay. All right
Uh,
then.
Let's see. I'm like this once again. Let me apologize for being late. However, for those that know me, I am Sir McPetty. I have a petty spirit, a petty spirit deep down within the well of my belly. If
It
that's the
ain't even
game
deep
you,
down.
it's not. It's literally sitting right
It's
next
right
to
on the
me. I'm
surface.
talking about
It's
it's
at the
right
It's
on the
right,
side
surface.
of me.
right up
It's
in here.
bubbling.
My thing is, if that's the game you want to play, trust and believe. Let me let me king myself, cause I'm about to play one just as well with you.
But this being an
I
established relationship, why are we jumping to 100 off bucks? Why are we jumping to
Because you're
100?
deviating from our norm, and if you're
because you
going to do that,
deviated from the.
you have to communicate.
Hey, no, no,
That's
no, no, no,
the
no, no,
main
no.
thing
You
for
Hey,
feel
Matt, no,
relationship.
no,
enunciate.
no, 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 no. Wait, hold on. Let me hit Matt real quick because Matt want to be Maxwell on this show. We're not about to do that, Matt. Let me hit you real quick. Hey, Matt, if your job started deviating your paycheck, if your bank account started deviating the funds in your bank account, I don't think you're gonna be like, well, let me check myself. Maybe I spent too much at McDonald's or Little Caesars or White Castle, and I
I'm gonna
didn't
check
cross
my
my
spending
T's
first
and dot
before
my
anything
I's,
right
and
now.
I didn't move my decimals in the right. You're not doing that. But if you're in a relationship with somebody and y'all together for real, and you see them posting and liking and tweeting and kicking and Instagramming and Snapchatting and you gonna feel some type of way off rip. Any person will. And the last thing you're going to do is worry about checking yourself. You're like, hold on, wait, are we beefing? Because I don't think we beefing. Let me double check because then somewhere down the line, now the insecurity comes. It's gonna be like, okay, well, if they feel this way to be able to not respond to me 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours later, and I see you all on. Okay, check this out. I think that we just need to go ahead and part ways because you felt that you didn't need to respond to and keep in contact with what we've already developed. Because I guarantee, let your job miss a couple of paychecks. I don't think you're going to be talking about let me check myself and see if I want to get up and go.
A
You're going to be
couple
looking
checks or
for
the first
another
check,
job. A couple
because
of checks.
there's a couple different things happening here. You know, a couple checks, yeah. What is going on? But this is the first check. Apparent,
I'm cutting up
maybe
my first check. Don't
based on
play
the
with me.
context of the question, we don't have any background to a this
True.
initially this is what I'm doing. Something
But the
going like,
context of
wait,
the question was this is your main thing. Y'all
The
have
context of the
developed a
even
question was
still,
unclear, Jay. Also, can we get the next question? Because we're not finna go in circles.
yeah, let's go. I don't. Let's
Okay,
go.
we're gonna shift gears a little bit. The next question, as it pertains to religion, things are shifting a little bit, and y'all have now. We ain't gonna say y'all got next. Y'all got now. Y'all are the next up and coming thing.
The next.
Jonathan Moore, Reverend Moore. He's already a pastor. A few of you are in ministry or moving towards ministry. So I want to ask y'all a question. When it comes to like relevance, um, do you guys are you feeling the old school approach to ministry and religion, or are you guys looking for something a little bit more relatable? And let me explain. Um, it's what worked for your mom, what worked for maybe me, Ebony, and Jonathan. Um, will that work for you? Are y'all cool when a pastor comes in the pulpit and let's say he preaches on who's I don't know, I'm out of the loop, but he comes with a catchy rap title to a rap song, in reference to a sermon. Like, is that necessary to draw y'all, or Jesus keeping it across is good for y'all and y'all can rock with that and we ain't got to make no changes? Like, how important is relevance to your generation for ministry for you guys?
So,
Well, for, go
go
ahead,
ahead,
Jasmine.
J-Mo.
Okay. All right. Well, for me, I know that like being a new pastor, with a older congregation, I know that I kind of struggle right now on the sermons that I preach because I do want to be relevant, but I also want them to know that I understand and I respect where they come from and the wisdom that they have to offer and their experience and everything like that. But one of the things I've told them repeatedly is that, like, as your pastor, I can't with a clear conscience sit up here and make it seem like the Bible doesn't have context. So I'm gonna have to, deviate some from, like, some of your old ways and some of the things that you're used to. But that's not to say that it was wrong. It's just to say this is a different perspective. This is a different approach. Um, Me personally, I don't think that I need the popular rap song title for a sermon. That because that's just not me. I feel like I have an older spirit, but at the same time, I I want to make sure that I'm preaching the Bible in its entirety and not just, sections that make you want to shout, holler, and run, but so you can actually understand everything that's going on in the text. And so, like, it's been a challenge almost for my congregation to see that, like, yes, I respect you, I really do, and I want you to give me as much wisdom and information as you possibly have to give me, and I'm going to be open to receive and accept that. However, at the same time, I have to keep pushing this narrative that yes, the Bible has context, and I want you to see the Bible from a different perspective. So I try to be as trendy as I can and make sure that, like, I'm up to date with current events and everything like that. But I'm still kind of struggling with finding that balance.
BB, how important is relevance to you in your walk?
Well, I'm kind of a mixture of both because I have a background where my daddy is a Baptist preacher, my mom is non-denominational minister, my granddaddy Baptist preacher. So I kind of like I'm in between because I understand that old isn't always better and new isn't always bad. And I think we get that mixed up. We get it confused because the older generation is stuck in their somewhat traditions. So they just feel like anything new is bad, which is not the case. I just think for me, it's just like a medium because I can go to the hymns, I can go to the praise and worship. I just feel like it's just whatever's comfortable for you. But I do feel like that everybody won't learn from Peter's story. Everybody won't learn from Noah. Sometimes what it takes to reach people is for them to be able to relate. And although the stories in the Bible are very much so relevant, sometimes they need to know that you went through the same thing, the exact same thing. And I think that's what it will really take. And it will also take people not telling half of their testimony. Because, a lot of times they want to avoid and tiptoe around because they don't really want you to know how deep they've been. But I feel like if you only tell half of the story, God only gets half of the glory. So I feel like if we be a little bit more real and a little bit more transparent and just understand where some people are, I feel like that's what we're reaching.
Can I
Yeah,
jump on that?
go ahead, Jazz.
I was gonna say it's about sampling, right? I like music. I like music a lot. My undergrad degree is in dance, so I listen to music just cause, right? And so it's about sampling, right? You have to find the balance and strike the balance based on the people that you're serving, right? So the way that I approach ministry with young adults is not the way that I preach in the main sanctuary on the pulpit second Sunday, right? It's gonna be the same message and you're gonna get the same context, but how I deliver it to you is gonna be a little different, right? Even when I do children and youth ministry, it's different than how I deal with young adults, right? You have to be able to meet people where they are. Also, about telling half your story, I think that and I've been wrestling with this probably since July of 2020. I think that as Christians, we always want to say that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. But we only want to tell the testimony once we've been through the entire test. And the reality is that some tests are multi-part. And so for you to get to part 3, you're going to have to share part 1 and 2 with somebody, right? And so I've been struggling with at what point and how do I share in a layer of transparency with the people that I serve and the people that the people that I serve and the people that I serve under, right? The last year was crazy for me. And so I can't say that everyone that sees me as their young adult minister or their youth pastor knows everything that I've been through. And I can't even say that all of my mentors know everything that I've been through. But there are parts of it in which I've had to share so that then what's happening around me made sense. So I think we need to do a little sampling.
Understandable. Jess, how important is relevance to you?
I don't do gimmicky. And you said something about taking like a song, a rap song, and making like, let's don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I agree totally with that. It needs to be real. I think that what you carry in your heart and in your mouth is for certain people. You know, it's not gonna be for everybody. So if you're being real, you know, who is supposed to draw, it'll draw. You know, you don't have to put no spin on it. You ain't got to put no sauce on it. You already got the sauce that you need inside of you. So I just think you only need to be transparent and real. In fact, at this point in time, I'm actually writing a book about trauma. Because I've been on this journey trying to get to a healed space from how I grew up. My dad was a preacher, pastor, only on Sundays though. And that's not a slight to my dad. I love him to death, but it's just the truth. And so what I learned was not how to be a Christian, in fact, but how to go to church. And so during the week, though, I learned about drugs, I learned about cussing, I learned about the world during the week. And then on Sunday morning, everybody get up and put their gospel music on and get dressed for church and go have church and shout and fall all over the floor. And then by 7 o'clock on Sunday night, we back to the smoking and the drinking and the cussing and all that. You know what I'm saying? And so it kind of did something to me as far as like what I felt was real in religion or what was necessary or whatever. And I've had to take this journey back to the space of what I know to be real or whatever. And like Jasmine said, I've had to tell parts of my story that were not pretty. I'm telling them every time, every day, without my control. You know, that's how I know it's God. Because some stuff I be telling, shout out to Mariah Wells comment. That's my cousin, y'all. And I tell her all the time, you know, I don't be want to tell these people my business. But God got a word and it be coming out. And if that's what he want me to say, that's just what I say. So I just think it needs to just be real and transparent.
Can I clear something up real quick? Because when I say tell half of the story, I don't mean that you have to tell it all every time, because it's not meant to be told to everybody. But in your discernment and when God moves, you will know whether or not you need to tell them parts 1 and 2 or 3 and 4 if you need to give them the whole breakdown. So I just want to clear it up, because I don't mean like they just leave it. I mean, some people will leave it out because it hurts too bad. They don't want to admit it, and it'll also make them have to change once you start putting it out there. But I just wanted to clear that up. That's not what I meant. Because again, with your discernment and your understanding of your relationship with God, you will know who to tell what to.
Your safe places where you can tell it and where you should hold back a little bit. Totally understand. Anybody else want to share their opinion on that particular question? Matthew, Leash.
Yeah, I too, new pastor, and where I'm struggling is I'm big on giving what I like to receive. So I'm not gonna preach at anybody anything that I'm not exercising myself. So it's kind of tough because I'm guided. I mean, I can't probably like name them, but I'm guided more by like some core principles that I believe are rooted in the word and guide my life. But they also guide. I think about when I'm preaching on Sunday morning, I'm not thinking about the person who's already here. So I've used it before on a thing, but you know, church is the buffet. And when you come to church or you come to hear the word, like, everybody doesn't go to the salad bar first. Some people don't eat the salad at all. Some people don't eat the meat, even though there's a bunch of varieties there. There's a bunch of vegetables there. You could be a vegetarian, you're still not going to eat them all. But at the end of the day, there's food. And I should be able to come and get some food. And at the same time, I'm not going to a buffet if I'm not hungry. Mm-hmm. So if I'm coming to and I'm going to hear a word, I got to consider the person that doesn't eat this, is allergic to that, just as much as the person who eats everything on the buffet. And I think what's happening now when we mention the traditional versus where things are going or where they need to go, we're really dealing with that. We're coming out of a place, especially with COVID, is exposed a lot about what is actually necessary. You know, I've shared, like, it's going to be hard trying to convince people that coming to sit in an hour and a half service with announcements and all these formalities is actually necessary for my walk with Christ, my elevation in my in the kingdom building of God. You gotta, it's a hard sell right now, right? So I'm thinking about when I'm selling.
Okay. Next question.
Hold on, Sissy. If you'll allow me.
Uh-huh. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's breaking up on my end a little bit, but I wanted to put a pin in something just for a second and ask the panel, how have you fared finding, because somebody said something, we said something about being safe. How have you all fared, especially since you've entered into various aspects of your ministry walk, finding safe places, finding places where you can be vulnerable, where you can just be Jonathan or Jasmine or Jessica, or Alicia? How has that worked for you? Have you found that your peers have shifted or changed? How's that working for you?
I mean,
Leash. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jonathan, and then Leash.
Okay. I know for me, I'm really, especially now as I move into like this new season of ministry, I'm really intentional about my community that I surround myself with. So like I stand or sit here tonight really secure in the fact that, like, my crew is solid. I can be myself around my people, right? Like I have, excellent friends, and they're not large in number, but the few people that I have, I can say, hey, I've really had a rough day being Reverend Moore or Pastor Moore. Can I just come, like, chill on the couch, we watch TV, do something like that? Like, I really appreciate, those people, as I'm, especially now that I'm like a pastor, because there's some things that you can't be prepared for when you start this new journey of pastoring, and it'll take a toll on your mental health. It'll take a toll on certain aspects that you really can't prepare for. So you need community around you that'll be able to say, like, hey, when you come to my crib, you're not Reverend Moore, you're not Pastor Moore, you're just Jonathan, and we can have like this bro to bro, sister to sis conversation, and we can just be here for you, support you, and as much as those people are to me, it's my prayer that I'm that safe space to them as well, where they feel comfortable enough around me to say, hey, I'm struggling with this. Like, can we talk? Can we, like, work through this? So, like, the community that I have, it was very intentional in, like, creating it, because everyone can't be in your space. Everyone isn't designed to be on this journey with you. So you have to be intentional about who you choose to confide in, who you choose to trust, and be around you constantly. So I feel like I'm confident in the people that are around me, because they've continued to prove themselves time and time again.
I say that I also have a really good, I look at it like kind of like the outer court, the inner court, the holies of holies. And I have a really big family and a good support system, but when it comes to ministry or sometimes what I feel like God is leading me to do, they don't always understand or get it, you know. And so then I also have um my inner court, you know what I'm saying, which is just only like two people that I can talk about anything to, that I can pray with, and I can cuss to, and you know, whatever it is for that day, they ride with me, you know. So I would say that I have a really 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 good support system, and I need it. So
I'll say that my support system has shifted. Um, so I'm a preacher's kid turned preacher. Um, and so I've always been careful about who I am, just jazz around. Because growing up, while it was I could be jazz, I was still Reverend Bullock's daughter, right? Um, and so um probably about 3 years ago, after my first year in seminary, my whole support system shifted, right? I was in a new city with new people, and my friends who were also PKs didn't understand the new part of this journey I was on, right? They didn't express a call, still don't. And so my support system has shifted, and I've just gotten to the space where I can say that I have friends again, right? Like people that I feel I can truly let my hair down and be just jazz. Whoever she is in that moment, whatever she needs in that moment. And you know, I feel like for 2 years I prayed for friends. And what I've realized in this past year is that they were always around, but their prominence in my life changed as I grew and as I shifted, right? So Matt and I grew up in the same district, and like I knew who he was, but we were never close. But like now I know that I can send Matt a text whenever, call Matt and be like, yo, bro, listen, I need, or hear me out. Am I being crazy right now? Or listen, this what he did. Am I wrong? Who wrong? Right? I just want to say Matt ain't never told me I was wrong, no. And so I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that although what I had and what I cherished and valued, while I thought that it was lost and I would never, God gave it back tenfold, honestly, right? Like my friends are better, they're more solid, and half of them are PKs turned preachers. Some of them are just, you know, first generation preachers, but they are there to support me as I navigate this journey. So yeah.
Anybody else? Leash.
I'm having some weird connection
Let me
issues over here.
also point out that I also, while I might have never said she was wrong, I also didn't say she was right.
Right.
Same here. Same
Look,
here.
thank you for adding it,
Thank you for the clarity. Leash,
for the
go ahead. I
clarification.
think it's just the enemy
But
because
yeah,
my
it's
connection acting funny too.
yeah, as
Mine
much
is too.
as like, you know,
He don't want me to talk. The devil don't want me to talk.
what happened?
No, everybody's connection is kind of funny. I think it's just the enemy just trying to interfere in this little conversation, but we know what to do with him.
Oh my goodness. Because I just wanted to add in. Can y'all hear me?
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Yes.
I just wanted to add in, I'm 24 and I kind of just accepted my call into ministry, and I have found it kind of hard to, I don't know, I found it kind of hard to find people who truly understand, I guess, the shift. And for me, like a couple of weeks ago, I went out with some friends, and if I can be transparent, because I base my ministry off transparency. I wanted to get a drink, and they was just like, "Nah, we can't drink with the Bible study leader." And you know, like they weren't trying to joke on me, but it kind of hurt my feelings deep down inside because I'm just like, dang, like y'all gonna do me like I can't even just be myself anymore. because like of where God is taking me. But I feel like once I've gotten a spiritual mentor now, and I feel like with that is helping because I've noticed that as I pour out, I do need somebody to pour back into me because I can't handle the weight on my own. So I think with having this spiritual mentor is helping now, and I'm building community of where I'm going, not where I was. So yeah, that was my answer.
That's good. Baby, you got a safe place, sugar? Besides your husband?
Well, my circle is actually, I'm in a place where it's changing as we speak. Every day is I'm seeing more, I'm understanding more. But I also the type of person that I well, when I checked my circle, I had to look at myself and see what type of friend I was to them also. So I'm also in a place to where I've had to go to my brother and I had to tell him like, hey, I'm sorry because when you did this, I was supposed to tell you not to. I was supposed to pray with you or we find another solution, but I allowed you to do it. So I'm in a season where I'm changing and my circle is changing also too. But I'm also in such a place where I don't care who come and I don't care. Well, I don't care who come, but I don't care who go. And at this point, I really don't care who come because I've already asked God to put people in my life, and I'm trusting Him to surround me with people that will help me with my purpose. So at this point, I don't care who come or go, but I am in a place where people are going, but they're also coming. So
That part. Matt, I'm sorry. Did we cut you off?
I think he was having some.
I think he's frozen. Okay, so let me ask y'all this, and then we can wrap it up a little bit. When we hear about and talk about millennials and the church, you often hear about the mass exit. Millennials are leaving the church. You know, millennials don't want to have anything to do with Christianity, religion, whatever. What is your take on that, and why do you believe it's true? And if that's your truth or somebody else's truth, why do you believe it's so? Why do you believe that the millennials are distancing themselves from Christianity?
So let me start off with saying that's false. It's not true. And so I say that. So I'm really passionate about this. So if I start hollering, y'all forgive me in advance, okay? But I'm really passionate about this because people are saying this and they have numbers to prove it, but those numbers aren't based on the Black church. They're based on mainstream Protestant white denominations. And the reality is that within that age group that millennials are in, which is like 25 to 39, white people have always left the church during that point, and then they come back when they get married and start to have children, right? And so the way that they operate and view their faith is very different. One of my friends has the research for the Black church and what it looks like for millennials in the Black church. And the reality is that we are not leaving. What is true is that the ways in which we engage are different. So we may not be giving like mama and them when they was our age, but we also got more student loan debt, probably living at home with mama and them because we can't afford to go nowhere else, right? And so there are some other dynamics within it that present challenges when you look at the large landscape of the church and how we choose who's in leadership. But Black millennials aren't leaving the church. I just wanted to say that. I'm gonna sit down now.
I'm gonna jump in there as one of the older millennials because I just slid in there. I'm still in there. I'm still in
By
my
the skin of your teeth, sis.
By the skin of my teeth, but I'm here. Yeah. I would agree with that. We haven't left the church. While I like to say I am lay, I am a PK, but and I never left. You know, I work hard. We got a meeting tomorrow. You know that I'm gonna be all up on Monday. Cause you know we AMEs, we always at church. Had a Zoom tonight at 3. So no, I think you know we are still here. We might, you know, there are times I think we might become disengaged, but I think we jump back in. You know, but we don't ever fully leave. Let me
I
see who.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna just jump in right quick. I'm no longer a millennial. It's all good. Whatever. But I think like you guys said, I don't think that we left, but I do think that there are so many more things that people are free to try now that they would not have dared to try 10, 15, 20 years ago, speaking to the universe and, the woke nation and all these other things. There are so many things that people are, able to try now. So I'm not going to say that we aren't necessarily leaving the church, because we kind of are. People are kind of tiptoeing to other things to venture out, and then something happens, and they get a little angry with God, and so because things didn't go the way that they thought that they would go when they prayed to God, He didn't move like they thought he should move. Then they got mad and they decided to do something else. So I do think that there is a mass exit, and I think it's because people have the freedom now to try other things. Now they may come back, but I do believe that there is a mass exit. I mean, the woke movement is one. The whole praying to the universe and the sage burning is a whole other group of people or whatever. I think it's happening. I think it's happening. That's just
But
my
there are
little.
Christians
Can I
who
say
still go to
something?
church and do all those things. So in seminary, and Jonathan will know where I'm going, there are multiple Christianities, right? And so the way that
New
we
Age
express our
Christianity.
faith is different. Go ahead, Leash.
I was saying, I agree with that. It's because we have this new age Christianity thing, and now just have like new age Christians versus biblical Christians, and I think that's causing the disconnect.
Can I say something?
I agree. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I'm heavy in the streets. So, whereas most people are heavily connected to the church, my work is in the streets, and I can tell you that these people is getting up at this church. I can tell you that people don't even want to be identified as Christians anymore. I can tell you that people say out of their mouths, don't trust Christians. I've heard in 2020, I heard so many people denounce God in a way that is almost, it is scary. It's frightening. And so they getting up out of here. I mean, they burned incense and they burned sage, and even I was in this group and I thought
Burning
it was just
weed.
like a regular group on Facebook, and these people turned out to be witches. I got up out of there. Listen, I was energized,
Praying
baby.
every one of
I
them.
cleared the
Thank
room,
you.
baby. I got up out of there
Thank
so
you.
quick. But it's a lot of people who are no longer holding on to that religion that grandmama had, that mama had, and if I can even go further to submit that it is because in a sense the church has shut its doors and turned its back on the outside world, and they don't go to the streets no more. So that's all I want to say. Thank you.
I feel
Yeah,
like I'm sorry.
yeah. So I definitely feel like I agree with everything you just said, Jessica. Like, I know that my pastor told me one time, he was like, now it seems like the church is just a pit stop on the way to wherever else they want to go during the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not they're waking up intentionally wanting to go to church. It's we're gonna get up, we're gonna go to church, and then we're gonna go do what we really wanted to do all day long. So like, and
No.
that's scary for me, like as a young pastor, because like I still want to reach these people. I still want to bring them into the sanctuary, right? But you look at, like, I'm not gonna sit up here and act like church hurt doesn't play a role in why this exit is so prevalent, because it is. Like, we can, denounce church hurt and say like everything, but until we tackle the issues of, like, people have really, really, really been scarred and traumatized by some things that have happened in the four walls of the church. And until we are intentional about tackling those issues, I think we're going to continue to see this decline, because, like, like I've taken systematic theology, and it's like you sit up here and I'm questioning God. I'm like, God, why would you allow this stuff to happen, man? Like, why would you sit up here and allow racial injustice to run rampant in the streets? Why would you sit up here and allow, like, black men and women to be killed constantly and just tormented? So I see the rationale as to why people have denounced it, and like I'm just sitting up here trying to give an answer each and every Sunday. Like, look, I know it's bad out there, but like we gotta keep holding on, keep trusting, keep believing everything's eventually gonna be all right. But this generation now, they don't want their answers in the by and by. They want them in the here and now. So like that's an issue that we have to deal with.
That's good. Go ahead, Coach Jay.
I didn't want to say nothing but Jonathan Moore, I just want to say I love you because you stole my name. That's all I wanted to say. That was it. That's all I've been wanting to say. You stole my name. But no, I definitely agree with what he said because I grew up in the church and I have had church hurt. I've had a baby out of wedlock, and I've also had a pastor who was sleeping with his wife's best friend and set me down, but he never sat down. So church hurt plays a lot in the mass exit. Not only that, the belief of God. People are like, how can I believe him when he's doing more wrong than I am? How can I believe what the choir is singing and 90% of the choir is doing same sex? I can't figure this out. So a lot of people are leaving because the truth that they thought was true has slapped them in the face, and they like, hold on. So everything I once believed was a lie all the time. And like somebody said, I'm not sure who said, it's so many other religions and denominations and so much other things for people to get into that, Jonathan, you're right. Church is nothing but a pit stop to where they want to go. And if we talk about Christianity, people like Christian, like, what is that? Because there's this God and this guy and this guy. And then I heard they just made 4 more gods last week. And then next week they're gonna make 2 more gods. So I'm trying to follow that. And then 3 weeks from now it's gonna be 6 more gods. So I'm trying to figure out which God am I supposed to be praying to and supposed to be listening to. So the mass exit is because we have lost the true essence of what we were supposed to, what we were created to do. And that's the relationship, not just the Christianity or not just the denomination, but we have lost the fact that we need the relationship with Christ rather than the denomination or just a solid, oh, I'm a Christian because I listen to Kurt Franklin today.
Can I just say one more thing about that? Also, like, okay, I'm gonna be
I beg to
transparent
differ.
and say that I don't go to church.
Okay.
That I grew up in church my whole life. That both sides of my family were heavy in the church, my mom's family and my dad's family, and that was all I knew. And every time the door swing open, we was up in there. And I can't even blame me not going to church on the pandemic because I stopped going before the pandemic came. And I still am a follower of Jesus, even though I'm not beating down the walls of the church. But one thing that stopped me from going to church was, like you said, I knew so much about people who were pretending to be holy instead of being honest. Like, and so I guess I kind of want to know, like, what is the response to that? Because if my pastor goes out here and he does something that he's not supposed to do, I would be less likely to judge him for what he's done if he was real about it and not sweeping it up under the rug. I would be more likely to have a forgiving spirit or try to have some type of understanding for him rather than, you know what I'm saying, he act like he just perfect and he don't do nothing wrong, and then at least little thing I do, I'm out the church.
I
Can I
think
say
that goes
something?
into. Oh, I'm sorry, BB.
No, go ahead, B. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, it's funny y'all touched on church hurt because I recently just said, like, within the last 2 weeks, that if I wasn't as rooted and grounded and I understood why I was doing what I was doing, I understand why people leave. Church hurt is real. But because I understand, like a preacher told me a long time ago, that the church is like a hospital. So when you see people in there operating how they should not be operating, they're exactly what they're supposed to be. But it wasn't until recently that I realized that when we go in a hospital, we also have to understand that everybody that comes in here is not going to be changed and not going to be delivered, and they're not going to be healed. Some people are going to walk in there and come out the same way they walked in, and it's the same thing with the church. So when God come to room 22 where I'm in to give me my discharge papers, I can't be worried about staying in room 23. I have to keep my eyes on God and the relationship that we have, because they're where they're supposed to be. Now, will I help anybody as long as I can? Yes, but you have to understand that you can't help everybody, and some people choose to stay the same. So we can't allow the church hurt to really hurt us. We just got to give it to God, because it's not about any of that. And a lot of times people want to use church hurt as an excuse. When you go to Walmart, they're killing people. You go to the club, they shooting people. You go to school, you go to work, they get on your nerves every day at work, and they hurt your feelings. Sometimes you have to go in the bathroom and cry, but you still go to get your check. So I still need to go to God, regardless of what everybody else do, to get my healing, to get my deliverance, to get my peace, and to get my joy. And that's why we can allow church hurt to be a thing. We have to attack it, but we have to also let people know why they are where they are. Well, the reason that they're doing what they're doing. Because at the end of the day, it's about nobody but you and God. I'm married and I have 2 kids. And God had to sit me down one day and tell me, not that your marriage does not matter, not that your position as a mother does not matter, but it's between me and you. In order for things to get better, in order for things to get right, and you to be fixed and made whole again, this is just between me and you. Now, everything else matters, but when you focus on me and you get me and you right, I'll take care of everything else.
And the
That
doors
is
of the
so true.
church
That is
are
so
open.
true. And that follows up to like what I was going to say when Jess was like, how can you, in good conscience and faith go into the church when you know that the leadership is not necessarily doing what they're supposed to be doing? And my answer to that is simple. You keep your eyes on your own paper and you be the change that you want to see. You know, people are going to be people, and that's just that. But at the end of every day, they have to answer for what they do. Now, it is your job. It is your job to not be like them. It is your job to be the change that you want to see. It's your job to walk upright, to live a holy life, to live a consecrated life before God. It's your job to be transparent. It's your job to say, okay, I know what they're doing is wrong. I know God is calling me to ministry in some form. I know I'm not going to always, I'm not going to not make mistakes, but at the same time, accountability. You're not going to be, if you know that what they're doing makes you feel some type of way, then that will make you more apt to not do what they do. That will make you more apt to be the change. That will make you more, conscious of the fact that people are watching me. And I don't want to be the reason why other people fall. So just because we go to places and we see people doing what they're not supposed to do, we have to be the change that we want to see. And as much as we want to, call it out, as much as we want to say, well, throw up our hands and be like, they doing it, and, it ain't just doing me no good. No, you have to be the change that you want to see, because you never know who's watching you. You never know who's looking at you. You never know whose life you're affecting. So if you just keep your eyes on your paper and do your part, then that's the start. And if you reach one and teach one, and they reach one and teach one, then we begin to see the change that we want to see. But if we're always focused on what they're doing, we are taking away the time that we need to be working on ourselves and our own relationship with God. Keep your eyes on your own paper. They will have to answer for what they do, and they will answer. They'll answer on this side and the other side. And I know it's frustrating. Trust me. I know it's frustrating. But you got to keep your eyes on your own paper, and you cannot allow what other people do to affect what you and God have going on.
Is
Jazz?
that also your answer to people who are new in faith? Like,
No, when
what
it comes
keeps
to
them coming back? Because I know better, but what about somebody who doesn't?
okay, if it's somebody that is new in faith, yes, the pastor or
And
the
that
leaders, they
part.
have no, the pastors and the leaders, don't get me wrong. It's not that they don't have a responsibility, but okay. Oh God, I'm trying to tell my part without telling too much of my part. We just talked about telling our part. I'm trying to tell my part without telling too much of my part. If you are, let's say you're seasoned somewhat in your ministry, right? You know what you're supposed to be doing, right? You see these new babies coming in, right? You know that you're privy to things that are taking place. I feel like it's my responsibility to kind of come in and listen you, hey, new person, you know, let's bond, let's pray, let's walk, let's talk, let's like I took it upon myself to kind of step in and be okay, baby. I know some things, you know, you may hear some things, you may see some things, but let me walk with you. Hold on to Auntie's hand. Auntie's got you. Auntie ain't got all the answers, but we gonna find them out together. Don't pay attention too much to the chatter that you hear on the outside, because that's gonna throw you off. We all have a responsibility. So I've been in situations where I have stayed in situations far too long because I felt like it was my responsibility to be accountable for those who do not know. Because I know each one reach one, teach one, right?
Right.
So if I know, it's my responsibility to reach the new ones that are coming in that may not know. I can't shield you from everything, but let me teach you how to dodge a few bullets. Let me teach you how to, if I'm not here, how to stand strong. Hold my hand, walk with me. When I move, you move. We got to be the example. We can't answer for what everybody else is doing, but we can't make that excuse to not do what we're supposed to do, because we know what we're supposed to do. So you still got to play your part. Even when the rest of the cast is wilding out, you still have got to play your part. Play your part. Keep your eyes on your own paper. He got a responsibility. Yeah, he gonna answer for that. But while you looking at his paper, how many going astray when they could have been holding your hand and moving when you move? Because you know better. They don't. Each one reach one, teach one, baby.
Each one reach one, teach one. Um, and with that, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. But I want everyone from the panel to tell me one thing you would tell a one of your peers that is just entering into ministry about religion and relationships.
Okay, I'll go first. One thing I would tell them is to definitely keep God first. Don't try to take on anything. I just recently had to learn as myself to ask myself 3 questions when I start feeling overwhelmed or when I just feel like the world is just getting too heavy. Is one, what can I give to God? Two, what do I have to handle? And three, what can I eliminate? Everything that we face, everything that we deal with, we don't have to deal with it. We don't have to take on the way that we do. So I would definitely let them know to identify the things that you can give to God and that you have to deal with, that you don't have to deal with. And most of all, consult with Him for every and anything. And you can't go wrong. And make the right choice every time. And you can't go wrong. So that's what I
Okay.
would tell them.
Okay.
Jasmine.
Jasmine.
So I think that my advice would be when it comes to relationships, be careful. Um Make sure that they have as much to lose as you do in romantic relationships. Um and
That's
then
good for everybody, child.
Friendships too.
well, that's
Regular
true.
old friendships.
And then well, yeah, in friendships too. But in friendships, show up for them the way you would like for them to show up for you. Um and then when it comes to religion, I got real liberated while I was in seminary. So when it comes to religion, I'd say bump that. Look for a relationship with Christ. Because at the end of the day, your denomination will fail you. Your pastor will fail you. And so go on and get that good relationship going. And you're gonna be all right, sugar. I promise.
Anybody else?
Just anybody.
I would say that as far as relationships, remember to be intentional. Like it's okay to have standards for what you want in your relationships. And once you set those standards, don't deviate from them, but hold fast to them, and make sure that you're intentional about who you allow in your space, in your circle. As far as religion, for those of you who are entering into ministry, know that it's difficult. It's a lot of work. Like you have to be committed to doing the work, committed to doing the reading, the outreach, everything that comes with it. It's not just about preaching on Sunday morning or being a known revivalist, but you really have to do the work because people's lives are really at stake and their well-being is at stake as well. So as long as you're committed to the work, everything else will work itself out.
Agree. Anybody else want to lend anything?
I'll just say, as far as relationships are concerned, be open for communication, be open to be transparent, um, and be open to show love to everybody as you would to yourself. Um, and I don't really know what to say about that religion piece. um, but what I will say, I guess, is make sure that you're in a space to hear, and that you're actively listening, and that you're following what you hear. That's all.
Agree.
Well, I think that
Anybody
was
else?
great, Jessica.
All right. Well, with that, let me see. Jessica, pray us out.
Oh, you low down. All right.
Oh my.
I've got just thank you for this time and the opportunity to have these great conversations. And I just pray that everybody who took the time to be here today will be blessed. I pray that you will continue to build up those support systems. I pray that angels will be encamped around everybody here. I pray for mental health for everybody here, because this walk is not easy, and we were not promised that it was going to be easy. And so just as we go about our walk, God, I just pray that everybody here would have continue to have a sound mind, God, and that your love would just pour out on us, that we may pour it out on everybody that we come in contact with. And it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
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 Thank y'all.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Let
Go in
the
Thank y'all
peace.
for a
church
wonderful
Y'all have a
say
great
session.
week.
amen. Let the church say amen. God has
It's so
spoken.
God.
That ain't the key, but
Yeah.
them
Let
the
the
words.
Oh
church
yeah. Oh
say
yeah.
amen.
He sound like
Let
that.
the
You
church
sound
He
like
always be
Bishop
off
Neal.
key.
Yeah.
Bye.
say
Y'all have a
na
good
na na
week.
na. Tabo, tabo,
Okay,
tabo, tabo.
Ron. This has
Oh yeah.
been You
Let the
Me and the Trinity's
church
Christ Connections and
say
Conversations, the
amen.
young and the restless
My
inside the
God
mind
has
of a
spoken.
millennial. Meet us back next
Let the
Sunday, 7
church
p.m. Central, same time,
say
same
Listen.
place.
amen.
It's going to be a surprise. We love y'all. Thank y'all. And good
Hallelujah.
night.
I want him to hush. Bye.
Y'all log off. Oh my God.